Welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for being here. My name's Lisa Jane, and if you've never seen me before or you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing down below. This is going to be my beginning of the year book tag. I've seen many creators doing this already, and I sort of wanted to jump on the bandwagon, if you like. So I think I took my questions from Larry Reed's, and I think there are 18 questions in total. If you see me looking down, it's just that I've got the questions in front of me and some like notes, if you like, to them questions. So question number 1 was, how many books are you planning to read in 2026? Now, last year I set my reading goal at 60, and I've done the same this year. I just feel like 60's a good number. It's 5 books a month, which I think is about attainable for me. I do go over on some months depending on what workload I've got. So I work in a nursery term time as a manager, and I also do university alongside this. So obviously, as you can imagine, some months are really hectic with work and uni, and then months like the summer where uni's finished and I'm not in work, I get to read a lot more books. So yeah, month to month varies very, very differently for me. Uni is finishing this year. I am graduating. I am so happy. I have done uni for 6 years alongside my workload, and it's been a hard slog at times, but I'm on the final stretch, as we say, and I am due to finish in, I think it's the end of May, beginning of June this year. That's when my final assignment, essay, dissertation, whatever you want to call it, is due in. But we digress and we move on. So question number 2 is a book you're likely to reread this year. Now, for me, I think eventually I will want to start rereading. I only got back into reading, shall we say, because I've always loved reading, but I got back into reading in March 24. And as you can, I mean, you can't see all of them. This is just a small amount behind me. I've got, I think, just under 200 books to read on my TBR, which is a lot, I know. We are planning on making some changes to that this year. However, I don't feel like I need to reread at the moment. I feel like I need to just continue getting through the books that I've bought, and I've bought them for a reason. I want to read them. So yeah, never say never, but I think my priority at the moment is to just read the books I haven't read. Number 3 is a priority read on your 2026 TBR. Now, I'm going to extend this slightly, and I'm going to say a priority series to finish on my TBR. So we started this the beginning of 2025, and we are only halfway through. The book is an 8-book series, so you probably know what book series I'm talking about, and that is none other than The Throne of Glass by Miss Sarah J. Maas. I loved ACOTAR, and I want to read all her books. So I am currently, like I say, halfway through. So I've read The Assassin's Blade, The Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, and Heir of Fire. And I need to read, it's gone straight out of my head, I need to read Queen of Shadows, Empire of Storms, Tower of Dawn, and Kingdom of Ash. Now, they are chunky books, but that never phases me so much. And I would love to get them books read this year and finish that series off. Not because I want to just get through it, but I really want to know what happens in the story. And I feel like I left it at quite a crucial point. If you know, you know. But yeah, I can't wait to dig back in. And if you've watched my January TBR, you will see that I think Queen of Shadows was chosen in that TBR, so we can start with that one. Right, question number 4 is an author you won't be reading more books from this year. And I think, sadly for me, it is going to have to be probably Heather Fawcett. Now, I know she does have a new book coming out this year. I think it's to do with cats, I want to say. And it does look cosy and inviting. However, I read 2 of the Emily Wilde series and they were okay. But I just don't feel the need to go on with that one. I just don't think she's quite the cosy author for me. And that's okay, we're all different. So yeah, I think for me, it's going to be Heather Fawcett I'm sadly leaving behind in 2025. But hopefully I'll find some more cosy authors that I connect with better. Then we move on to question number 5, which is something new you want to read. Well, I've got a couple of books. Well, you can see it, one of the box sets behind me, but I would like to read Mistborn, which is the first book in the first era of the Mistborn trilogy. There's so many books and series within the Cosmere universe by Brandon Sanderson. It's really difficult to get your head around. But I would like to read Mistborn Book 1 in Era 1 this year. I mean, I'd love to get all 3 books done in 2026, but whether that's likely is another thing. And another new book I would like to read is The Will of the Many by James Islington or Islington. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. But there are 2 new books I would like to read this year. Then we move on to question number 6, and that is a popular book you want to read. A popular book I want to read, however, I am very hesitant, and I've said this many times now, and that is Alchemized by Senlin Yu. This book has been all over YouTube, and I think Instagram I saw it quite a bit as well. And it is a book I'd really like to get to, mainly because I've seen how much people love it, and I just thought, even though it's a chunker, I would like to read it at some point. I just don't know when's the best time to plan this one in, because I'm not as fast at reading as other people. So this book alone could probably take me 3 to 4 weeks to get through. So that's literally just 1 book in a month. So I just don't know whether to leave it until I'm on like a break from work, where I've got a week or 2 weeks off, you know, like February half term, or the Easter break, where I've got a couple of weeks where I can do a little bit more reading throughout the day as well. But we will see. And then number 7 is most anticipated 2026 book release. Now, this is going to have to be, and I'll put a picture here, Burn of the Everflame by Penn Cole, which is due out in 2026, and it is, I think it's due in July, I want to say. And I absolutely loved Spark of the Everflame, Glow of the Everflame and Heat of the Everflame, and we left off on a real cliffhanger, and I can't wait to see what happens going forwards. Penn Cole has created this really rich world to me. There's been a lot of world building in there. She's thought so much about the world, and I just absolutely love it. It's probably one of my favourite book series since the ACOTAR series. So if that's your kind of thing, then it may be worth checking this series out. But yeah, I highly recommend. And then number 8 is a bookish goal for 2026. I think I've started a reading journal this year, which is really nice. And I wrote my goals down in here. And I think the one I'm going to choose for this question is to complete and get up to date with series I've already started. Hence the reason I'm talking about The Throne of Glass. I think I am leaving books too long in between, and sometimes we get to that point where we actually forget what we've already read. And I think this, you know, let me know in the comments, but I think this is something we all do. We get so excited about all these new book releases, we want to read them, but a lot of them are starting series, and we get so overloaded with it. And I think my aim for 2026, although I'd like to start some new ones, and I have got 3 or 4 in mind that I'd really like to start, I think the main thing for me is getting up to date with the ones I've already started. It might be that you know, we're waiting on books to be released, and that's absolutely fine. If I'm up to date with them, I'm up to date with them. I can do no more than that. But I think anywhere we've got the books out and I've still not read them, I really need to get them read if I'm going to continue the series. I hope that all made sense, but I think it did. And then number 9 is, I'm just really conscious of the time. I think I've been filming for about 10 minutes now. So number 9 is, we're at the halfway point. A book that's been on your TBR that you probably won't ever read. I found this one really hard, and I've actually not put a book down, and I'm still trying to think of one that I've got sitting behind me on my shelves that I think I'll never get to. I think there's one possibility for this one. In fact, there's two. There is something called The Voyage of the Damned by Frances White. I'll pop the cover here somewhere so you can see it, because it's all the way up there on my bookshelf. This one, I picked it up, really wanted to read it, and then I've just never got round to it. And I think it was when I was like first picking books off the shelf, and I really, my taste has honed in on certain things now, and I don't know about that one. Please let me know if you've read it and really enjoyed it, because you might be able to persuade me to read it. And the other one is Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. Now, I know there's been lots of debates about the Powerless series by Lauren Roberts and this Red Queen book and Powerless, and one imitates the other. However, I'm not really bothered about that in that way, but I just think Red Queen has been on my TBR now that long that I'm not sure I'm going to read it. And I know I chose again Powerless. I will link the January TBR video down below if you want to go and watch it. I picked Powerless in that video, I'm sure of it. So again, I don't want to reread the same sort of story. I want to read different stories, and that excites me more. So I would say possibly them two books for that question. Then we move on to number 10, which is a series you want to read this year. Obviously, I've already mentioned the Mistborn trilogy behind me. I think that is definitely at least a trilogy I'd love to read this year. Another new series I would like to get to this year, and possibly complete it, she says, is the Red Rising series by Pierce Brown. My husband bought me these books. He bought me the full 6 books. So we have the first trilogy, and then we have another trilogy, which I think is set either, I think it's like in the future. And yeah, these have been raved over lately. I think they are quite old books as well, but I'm really looking forward to getting to them. We've got like maps on the front again. And yeah, this is definitely one I would like to get to in 2026. Then number 11 is your author by authors going into 2026. And I would have to say for this question, I am going to have to choose, you know, Miss Sarah J. Maas. We have to pick her because I love her books. I have Laurie Gilmore on there. She did she's still doing it, the Dream Harbour series. These are cheesy little books, but I have just loved each and every one of them. I think there are 6 books out right now, and there's another one coming out in 2026. But I've read them in chronological order, so I've watched the couples as we go along, and I've just really loved it. And it's not for everyone, and I get why people think, oh my God, I'm not reading this. But however, I have really enjoyed them and got a lot out of them. So yeah, I would say she's definitely one I'm going to keep my eye on, because although I've only read the Dream Harbour series, I just like her style of writing. It's nice and easy to get through. And then another one I'm going to put on there, and I am currently reading a second book of hers, so it's a tentative putting on the list, because obviously I've only read one and I'm reading one now, and that is V.E. Schwab. I read Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil in 2025, and I am currently, as I'm filming this, reading The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Now, her writing, it's just outstanding. I don't know what it is. It's not probably for everyone. However, I've really connected and you know, I just love it. There's nothing else I can say other than I really like her writing style. I don't know whether it's going to be different in her other series. I'd be quite eager to find out. I know I've put down as a ebook. I think I've borrowed it from my local library on BorrowBox, which is an app where you can borrow books online, and it is the Darker Shade of Magic series, so I am keen to try that this year as well. But yeah, I want to say tentatively V.E. Schwab, because I think her writing is just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And then we are going to move on to question number 12, and that is a book to show adaptation you're excited about this year. I'm going to say for this one, there's probably a couple. There's the Emily Henry one, which I think it's People We Meet on Vacation. I think that's coming out in January. But also a film that's out now, and I've read the book, is The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. It looks amazing, and I've seen so many good reviews, so I'm just gonna have a look at my calendar, see what I've got on, and I think I'm probably going to take a couple of trips to the cinema to watch those films. Question 13 is a sequel you're anticipating. I don't know whether it's coming out this year, however, I absolutely adored the first book, and it's by an author called Antonia Hodgson. I want to say Hodgson. I'll pop the first book here, and it was called The Raven Scholar. I think it's a high or epic fantasy. I think I've said this before. I'm not quite sure what the difference is. If you know, please let me know, but I'm sure this is a high or epic fantasy, and I am really, really looking forward to the second book in that series. We don't have a date for it yet. We don't have a cover for it. So whether it comes out in 2026, I don't know. But the book is called The Fox in Winter, and that is book 2 in the Eternal Path trilogy. If you like that type of fantasy, high, epic, I would highly recommend this one. We then move on to bookish things you're leaving in 2026. So I think we mentioned one before about starting series and then not getting round to them. I think I'd like to leave that in 2025 and obviously go forward in 2026. Sorry, I'm looking at the questions. And then another thing I'd like to leave behind from last year is comparing myself to others. I love reading. I love making these videos. I know there's not lots of views on them, and you know, I'm hoping to get better as time goes on. And thank you so much if you are one of those who have subscribed and watched them. Really, really appreciate it. However, I feel like we're always comparing ourselves to those bigger creators, which is understandable. However, I'm just here for a fun time. I like to share my books with you, and I love to hear what books you're reading or what are your anticipated reads for the year and things like that. So it's very much, although it's only a small community, it's very much, I like to be involved in the comment section and chat with you. So yeah, that was a bit of a ramble, but that is things I'm leaving behind. And then question number 15 is what to expect from this YouTube account moving forwards. And it's pretty much going to be the same thing. It's going to be, you know, chatty style vlogs like this. TBR videos, they seem to be obviously the best videos, I think, for most people. I want to do some more reading vlogs. I want to do, you know, book hauls still. I want to do things like shelf reorganisation. I really need to organise a shelf behind me. It's got really, really busy. I won't tip the camera because I don't want to take us out of shot. But it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shelves high, and it's absolutely full to the brim with books that I need to sort out. These are books to read more so on here. The books I've read are actually upstairs, and I am getting new bookshelves hopefully this year so that we can make nicer displays and I can film in different areas. But yeah, that would be something I'd love to film for you. And obviously, you know, I was doing reading wrap-ups. I find it difficult to talk about a book without giving too much away. But if a reading wrap-up is something you would like to see more of from me, of the books I'm reading, I am more than happy to do that. Just let me know what you would like from this account in 2026 as well. Because at the end of the day, yes, I film these videos because I get joy from them. And it's a good way of documenting what I've read over the years, but however I am filming them for you to get some enjoyment from them as well. So let me know what you would like to see and I will try my best to facilitate that. And then question 16 is, how has your reading taste evolved from last year? I would say I'm definitely more of a fantasy reader now. I think you can see by the books behind me on my shelf already, the books that are sitting on my book cart. I think I was very much at one point romance books. That was all I was ever used to. And then I've just slowly evolved into fantasy and then all their subgenres. So like your romantasy, your high and epic fantasies, you know, I'm getting stuck into all of them and giving everything a go and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So yeah, I would say I'm definitely more in my fantasy era right now than anything else. And then question 17 is booktubers that inspire me. And I watch a lot of booktubers on here, and can I just say, if you are watching this and you are a booktuber, it's likely I could have watched you, and you are all truly amazing. We all try our best and do our best when we're creating videos, but my favourites have to be Jamie. She's like tip top. I absolutely love Jamie. We have Lottie. I'm going to put them on here so you can see them. We have Freya, we have Emmy, and we have Laura. And more often than not, if I see they've uploaded a video, I am straight on there to watch it if I'm not in work or, you know, doing uni work. So yeah, they are my 5 top YouTube creators that I just love to watch every time they put out a video. And then the last question, number 18, is something you want to say to anyone wanting to start a bookish account. And I would say just go for it. I am 46, so I am not a spring chicken, and you know, it is what it is. But like I say, I just thoroughly love coming on here, having a general chit chat, picking up the books I enjoy, picking up the books I'm wanting to read, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. As long as you're enjoying what you're putting out, that's the main thing for me. Because obviously it's not a chore then. If you are putting things out and you're hating it and you just think, oh, I've got to do another video, then that's, you know, it's not worth doing it. But yeah, I would say if you want to create a bookish account, go ahead and do it. Let me know if you do in the comments. If you do, let me know and I will come along and subscribe to your channel, because at the end of the day, we all need to be supported in this bookish environment. I would love to grow my channel a little bit more this year. However, if it stays at between 200 and 300 subscribers, I'm happy, you know, as long as you're enjoying what I'm putting out, that's the main thing. And with that, we are at the end of the video. I think we're coming up to 25 minutes, so we need to do some editing on this probably. But thank you so much for being here again. 2026, a brand new year. Happy New Year, if I didn't say it at the beginning. And yeah, let's just have a good one. My year is going to be fabulous, I think, this year, just with graduating and things like that, like I said at the beginning. But yeah, the main thing is we all find some great new reads and we inspire each other and recommend books to each other. But yeah, again, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Like I say, I am trying to put out content every week, and I would say in 2025, I pretty much hit that goal. I was putting out videos every single week. I try to upload on a Monday evening at 6 UK time or a Saturday morning at 10. It's usually one of them two, if not both, in a week, depending on how many videos I've got to go out in a month. So yeah, please look out for them upload times, and I will see you in my next video. Take care everyone. Bye bye.